Can you feel the pain? I'm the one who's got an aching brain. I feel low. I don't wanna be the one who's got to bring it down. I just wanna tell you every night that I breathe, I won't bring you all down. Oh, every day when I close my eyes, I can feel the hatred in their lives. Oh, yeah. After what has never come to bring you down, my love. Don't you worry about my love, and I can show you everything in our lives. I feel alive. You know it's true. I wanna make sweet love to you.
UN Agenda 21, bailouts, sellouts, Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, false flag, terror attacks, Bill Gates, Henry Kissinger, New World Order, mind control, Bank of America stealing homes with cut and paste mortgage loans, police, state, taser guns, FEMA camps, Mandarin, Monsanto rules the food supply while Big Pharma dopes your mind. Prison system, profiteers, foundations, fund the fears, fund the evil through the years. The world's not as it appears. CIA smuggles drugs while Wachovia and Wells Fargo launder them, then give the proceeds to the owners of the Federal Reserve Bank. Now the IRS takes money out of every single check. Money created out of thin air and leave you with debt. They want to make you a serf, a slave to their demand. They want to take your life in every way they can. Fluoride, GMO, vaccines, chemtrails, United Nations genocide. The world they show us is not real. This is how they kill and steal. Rothschild, Bundy, Rockefeller, Club of Rome. On the Georgia Guidestones, it's written in stone. Cut through the matrix, awaken to the lies. Do not be hypnotized. We are one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Howard Nima, and you are watching Truth Talk News on TruthBroadcastNetwork.com. Fighting the New World Order every night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on TruthBroadcastNetwork.com. A lot of New World Order goings on around New York City. The United Nations World Government had their annual meeting, or are in the midst of having their annual meetings. And I don't even know where to go with this. I think I guess it'd be best to just go to the sources. the information on this is vast. You have on the Drudge Report, I'll go there. It's just interesting as all heck. You have Iran is test firing missiles, which are designed to hit warships. They're unveiling a long-range drone plan. This is their agenda. Israel is quiet on Ahmadinejad as Yom Kippur descends. Of course, it is Yom Kippur, and to those, my best friend in the world is of the Jewish faith, and for those that are my friends and patriots that celebrate, probably not watching this live, but you know, it is an important day on the Jewish calendar. So to those that celebrate, you know, God bless you, and let the divisions of religion not stray you from your faith, which is the intention of the New World Order. Divide and conquer, Hegalian Dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. These are the tactics they use. So that said, yeah, let's see what's going on here with this. This is just like sort of like bugging me out. See, there's a video. It's from Reuters. Okay, the article is from Reuters. And Iran unveils long-range drone, state TV. Okay, Iran's Revolutionary Guards unveiled a home-built long-range drone capable of reaching most of the Middle East, including the Islamic State's arch-foe Israel, state television reported on Tuesday. So again, the war drums are beating. They are beating these drums heavily. The reconnaissance drone named Shahed 129 has a range of 2,000 kilometers, which is 1,240 miles, and is capable of carrying bombs and missiles, state television said. Of course, gave no further details. Well, you know, what do you expect? This is where we're heading here. War is imminent, and unfortunately, I don't want to say inevitable, but this is what they do. The New World Order, this is what they do. They make war, they create conflict. All right, now Obama proclaims a fight against slavery. He's talking about the human trafficking, the sex trafficking industry, which, of course, on record, and I've done, I mean, probably 5 or 6, maybe 7 hours of shows in the archives that you can go to on youtube.com, Freedom First Films, and you can find a lot of information about child sex trafficking and the connections with the government through DynCorp and other organizations, including the United Nations itself. So it's just, again, more of this incredible doublespeak going on here. Now you have more doublespeak. This morning I heard Bill Clinton, and I actually have to admit, and I told this to my good friends at work, that I actually had to it's of course a ploy, it's of course controlled, and it's but he was on the mark about what he was speaking of, and I was very impressed with what he had to say regarding what's going on here in this election time, and I understand that he even sort of praised Romney. So there's some weird psyop going on, but I tell you this much: the truth of the matter is that this organization known as the United Nations is a front for the New World Order and their evil doings. As I was mentioning just a moment ago, the CIA promulgate most of this and propagate it and create it all of these events that have been going on lately in the media are typical CIA black ops. In fact, now there's going to be a black ops television show. But for Obama to proclaim a fight against slavery is just ironic. Let's see what it is. That's the Washington Times. Again, maybe I'll catch some video. I'm sure there'll be some video clips here. There always are on the Drudge. No, I guess this is just people talking. I want to hear some of the stuff from today, and usually it's a good place to get it. What do we got here? We got, oh yeah, Romney pulls his punches at Bill Clinton event, assails Obama's foreign policy. Obama doesn't want people to know what happened in Libya. Senators to Hillary Clinton, show us murdered ambassadors' cables. Yeah. There's just so much wickedness going on right now. I mean, I don't even know I don't even know where to start with the level of wickedness. Having Piers Morgan, having Ahmadinejad, all this stuff, it's just insane. And Piers Morgan the other night had Jesse Ventura, who tore him a good asshole and showed him what it's all about. And again, oh my God, he was trying to like convince the public that is the shill. The operative Piers Morgan was trying to dissuade the public from the truth. I mean, it's unbelievable. Well, after all, he's British, and as I've said many times, the British, it's an Anglo-American union, and really it's the British, the London End, owns the Federal Reserve. We have to really address these things. This is the truth. This is undeniable. Ralph Nader calls president a war criminal, and he is. He is a war criminal. He is actually defied the Constitution on so many occasions, and again, he sat on the. He headed the United Nations right there. Violation of it's treason. Violation of the Logan Act, treason, whatever you want to call it. Sending troops to war without congressional approval. I don't need to. It's like a Nixon type thing. But the people are so involved in their worries in their own lives, losing their homes, losing their jobs, losing their businesses, worrying about making ends meet if they are working, and struggling to save some money that these globalist criminals are going to steal from you in your retirement funds. It's going to be awful what's going on. And then it was just a collapse. Wow. There is so much going on, ladies and gentlemen, behind the scenes that people are not aware of. And then Madonna threatens to strip naked if Obama is reelected. So that's going to get some votes. Thank you, Illuminati, whatever I don't know what to call you. I'm trying to give you a Illuminatrix. There you go. That's it. Madonna, aka Illuminatrix. That's what my new thing for Madonna. I'm going to call her from now on Illuminatrix. So Illuminatrix will strip naked if you vote for Obama. Incredible. Incredible. We have all of these incredible stories that are going on in the news. There's so much discontent with America. America's being hated, and it's saying it's not because of a film. It isn't, because it's our policies. The problem that everybody doesn't understand, and this is why it's Truth Talk News, where the mainstream media ignores the top story. The top story here, the news that's being ignored, the truth that's being ignored, the information that is being ignored, is that these are people who have completely infiltrated the oppositions, okay, through various means. In this case, it's a film. Now, whether or not the filmmakers themselves are complicit through the backing of the film, or the financing of the film, or the production of the film, or the writing of the film, or the directing of the film, or the marketing of the film, somewhere in the wheel, this got into a CIA handler type situation where they utilized this film, or they found this film, or they want this film, and they put it out there to cause exactly the trouble that's out there. And then we have to solve this, we have to stop this, and that, and they have all these different ideas. unfortunately, the New World Order operates on war, and they need war. They own all these companies that produce bombs and military equipment. They have to do it. Eric Dupre said something here. Let's see what he wrote here. Perfect renaming, truthfully, for Madonna is Illuminatrix. Thank you. Hey, Eric, man, you got it, man. You can call in anytime you want. If you'd like to chat, you want to call in, you can, here, let me give you a shout. I'll just put on the headphones if you're there. Maybe you don't want to... But you can call in anytime since we're on Skype. By the way, anyone that's on Skype, my friends are all, of course, always welcome to join in on the conversation. Absolutely true, though, and thank you, Eric, for amplifying the fact that, you know, that she is like the Illuminatrix, you know? And that's the interesting thing about it. I show a lot of imagery from the movie Metropolis, and she sort of, again, it's all this Masonic imagery that is in that film, and these are all things being emulated. Lady Gaga as well, who they say is giving homage to Madonna, but it's really not. It's going, look, because I proved that by showing these films that were made, like, for example, Fritz Lang made Metropolis in 1926. But we're getting off the track of what's going on. My Lord, we certainly have some issues to deal with going on the world front with all of the COINTELPRO, all of the attacks against the Liberty people in the community, the rampant attacks against Dr. Antonella Carpenter, Barbara Hartwell, myself. It's just absolutely unreal. But the truth is that we're making an impact and we're showing folks a different perspective. So yes, now you have the Madonna Illuminatrix. She's just, that's her. And now we'll move along with some more information that we can make some commentary on here. How about, yeah, I saw this earlier. Men in business suits brawl over TV or over a taxi. Now these motherfuckers are so stressed out. These people are so stressed out that they have to attack each other over a cab ride. I mean, I just can't even understand that.
You see people arguing over cabs all the time in the big city, but you don't often see this. Two men in suits going at it in broad daylight on the corner of 27th and Park over a taxi. Rob Sinkowski caught it all through the lens of his smartphone.
What drew my attention was just, I could just tell these guys were pretty, fired up. It was rush hour. And
yeah, they want to get home. They're all stressed out because their employer is killing them. Like I reported yesterday, people are being worked to death, ladies and gentlemen, and stressed to death, and getting sick and have to be put on big pharma drugs.
What are you doing? I'm standing here. I was here first.
I don't care. I'm getting the kill.
Are you upstream me?
Everybody upstreams, you idiot.
But this was not a TV show. Sinkowski uploaded his video onto YouTube Thursday night, just a few hours after the fight, and it immediately got more than 40,000 hits. The number grew to a few 100,000 before YouTube took it down today when it was flagged for violence. Sinkowski says,
I'm going to have trouble now if I'm showing this. Flag for violence, God have mercy.
Silly.
I didn't think they were ever going to hurt each other. I thought they were going to kind of do what they did.
Okay, so they kind of did what they did. But this is what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a society that's breaking down, that's being worked to death, that's being sickened by the food supply. I have so much information on this, it's unbelievable. Uh-oh. My Drudge Report is clicking relentlessly. Sort of frightens me when that happens. There we go. Up. Okay. Now we have this whole thing with again, we're talking about the food supply and being poisoned. Wasted food, hungry kids, Michelle Obama's bill in action. Now, in 2010, Michelle Obama went on that lame duck session of Congress with a request to pass a nutrition bill. Of course, they did. The United States Department of Agriculture brought new powers to regulate school lunches. Now, interestingly enough, the J.P. Moran, a food service director for a small district in rural Kansas, said wastage has gone up at least 20% over the last year. So the wastage goes up. Students, particularly at the grade school level, cannot refuse anything on their trays, but of course cannot be forced to eat it. So at the high school and junior high school levels, things are a little more flexible, not much. He says basically that there's still all this waste. And what's interesting is that in the revolt over school lunches about having all this healthy food, while the FDA is like, all against any type of organics and farmers that are out there, and personal farming, if you have your own little land that you want to grow vegetables, they have laws, the Food Modernization and Safety Act, S510. It's unbelievable. And the FDA rating raw milk farms, and Michelle Obama hasn't. This is how the double speak, the double think, the Orwellian dialectic. That's a good word. There's one, Orwellian dialectic, that she has this nice garden and she shows everyone that they should look at and all this, but meanwhile they're taking people that have gardens and giving them fines in Illinois and other places, and she knows this. It's ironic. It's sickening. And anyway, so this revolt over school lunches, what's so ironic is that in Michelle Obama's children's school, they serve pizza. That's really healthy from the garden too, eh, Michelle? Now, I'm not a big fan of Romney either. I mean, let's face it, his principles are going to lead us to even more tyranny. As much as you think that that the right and the left have differences, they are controlled by the same interests. So unfortunately, a vote for Romney is a vote for Obama. So vote for Gary Johnson 2012. He's the only chance we have. Let's for once give a chance to a third-party candidate, to the Libertarian Party. Let's just bring this country back to what its founding principles were and restore the republic for which it stands, to be for generations what it has been, what it has not been. To erase this communist, scummy, slow consolidation, collectivism, deindustrialization, homogenization that's been going on for the last 50 years. Slowly, the Department of Education must be eradicated. I was so incensed. They're attacking Linda McMahon, who's running for Senate here in Connecticut, and they attacked her for being against the Department of Education. How dare they? Don't they realize that that's a Soviet-style indoctrination program being put into place, the whole system? Don't they understand that? No, they don't understand that, because they're mind-controlled, programmed sheeple. And that's why we have to wake them up. That's why you have to take everything I say to heart, research it, find your own truth, because there's only one truth, and that is the truth, and then share it with everyone you know. Share this broadcast. I mean, it's amazing. I didn't bring it to attention, but just the other day, I don't know exactly when, because I looked over, I said, oh my God, I have over 1 million viewer minutes on my live stream, Truth Talk News channel. That's a lot of minutes. I mean, even if you break it in hours, it's like it's over 1 million minutes since November of last year. So in less than a year, I've reached over 1 million minutes on the live stream. The YouTube page is generating between 9,000 and 10,000 views per month. The information's getting out there. Share it. It's out there, and it's growing. I've shown it before on air. I don't want to it's not about me or my efforts. It's about the results. We all have to have the same efforts. The more efforts I'm showing you that the efforts work. That if you do this, you can get the same efforts and take the same efforts, and you can get the same results. Because I'm nothing special. What am I? I'm just giving the truth. It's out there, and it reaches more people. So the more people that do this, if I can get 10,000 views and you can get 10,000 views, you understand? That's how it works per month. It's possible. It takes dedication, time, research, and you have to be truthful, because they will figure out you're a shill immediately, and you'll be attacked. You'll be attacked from people that are going to first be trying to just discredit you because they're envious. Then you'll get attacked by the real COINTELPRO agents. But this is what it's about. This is a war, ladies and gentlemen. We are at war. It is a war against freedom. It is a war against liberty. It is a war against individual liberty, a war against individual rights, a war against individual property. They're doing everything they can to make it impossible for the vast majority of Americans to afford real estate, property, to live at a certain level, that they must depend upon the state. And as the years and generations go by, it's gotten worse and worse. And if we let this continue, it will not just bankrupt us, it will enslave us. Literally enslave us. They want us chipped, documented like cattle, and they're poisoning us with the food supply. They're poisoning us with the water. They're poisoning us with the big pharma drugs, the psychotropics that something like 60% of the population or 70% of the population is on some kind of psychotropic drug. Unbelievable. And we have maniacs like this, like I'm a dinner jacket here, who's, you know, ready to have these long-range drones coming to attack. God knows what they could do. God knows what's happening at this moment. I mean, in time, in that area of the world. But we know that many of the things that are shown to us are only half-truths, if that, if they're not completely fabricated lies. And Al-Qaeda is a great example. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this very clearly, very, very clearly. I might even entitle this work this: Al-Qaeda does not exist. There is no Al-Qaeda per se. Al-Qaeda was created in 1979 by Zbigniew Brzezinski of the Council on Foreign Relations and the Bilderberg Group as an opposition force against the Soviets, okay, quote unquote, to bring about this freedom in Afghanistan, the freedoms of the people. There are so many, they use this Hegalian dialectic to confuse, control, and manipulate the people. And Al-Qaeda is the greatest manipulation. They still talk about it. What about Al-Qaeda? Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda does not exist. Al-Qaeda was created by Zbigniew Brzezinski and the CIA in 1979. It's on record. Tim Osman is a CIA operative, better known as Osama bin Laden. Another fable. They have fables. These are fables, ladies and gentlemen. It's a control mechanism. Plus, we have Project Mockingbird, which brings other emphasis of control and messages and infiltration into the media, television, radio, film. No denying it. Okay, in the second part of the show, I'm going to go over some more news. I'm still sickened by Ahmadinejad and my good friend Rob Post, the bass player in Azure Soul. That's what he calls him, Ahmadinejad, and I think it's a good representation, Ahmadinejad. He's you know, it's a funny, you know, Ahmadinejad, but Ahmadinejad, you know. He's a tyrant, another person like a Saddam Hussein, another globalist. Remember, these people, the bankers are the enemy, not these puppets. As much of a powerful force as you think he is, there's someone pulling his strings too. And in just about all these cases, it's the Rothschild and Rockefeller influence. Now, the Rothschilds made the Rockefellers, so don't think the Rockefellers are the chiefs. The true chiefs are the Rothschilds, above the banking, above the royalty. But it's a bloodline, and they're all family. In fact, they're Rothschilds. They're Lord Rothschild. It is part of the British Crown, undeniably. And we have now been enslaved because we are so opulent, and so decadent and so into our own individual needs and wants and desires that has been promulgated through a steady degradation of morality and God, moving away from God over the last 100 years. It's all been part of the same plan. And now we're even embracing our servitude. We love to have all these great things, these great products. Like Edward Bernays created this wonderful thing called propaganda, and this whole idea that people should buy things because they want to buy them because they'll make them feel good about themselves. That's how the globalists do it. That's how they infiltrate. That's how they operate. That's how the evil flourishes. So do not be deceived. We are under a scientific dictatorship. Medical science, eugenics, population reduction, mind control, world government, in the name of liberty and freedom, just like all of the foundations were for the betterment of humanity. Things are not as they appear. We have to understand that the world government has been set up. I mean, the idea of it was from the Congress of Vienna after the War of 1812. The idea of the first time they tried to get it. And they've been working for it for a long, long time. First in just the idea of a vision, and then actual attempts. The Paris Peace Conference, what resulted in the Treaty of Versailles. All right, I'm Howard Nima, and you're watching Truth Talk News on TruthBroadcastNetwork.com. This is Azure Soul with the New World Order. I want to give a thanks out to Harry Link, who will be coming up here at 10 p.m. on TruthBroadcastNetwork.com. Stay tuned. I'm Howard Nima, and you're watching TruthBroadcastNetwork.com.
Don't you ever want to hear
Here's the Illuminatrix in 1926. Can you imagine if life sounded like this every day and that was your existence? Well, we have a growing problem. We have a prison system that releases the most dangerous on the early programs into society, while the hardworking people that are stressed out and have a couple of too many drinks and get a DWI spend time in prison for their full terms. We have a disjointed legal system, judicial system, corrupted and countlessly caught in corrupting influences by private prison profiteers, who I speak of quite frequently. So the world is not as it appears. Again, you're watching Truth Talk News. I'm Howard Nima, and we're back. I got a lot of news. I can get lost in the aggravation of everything. But yeah, Michelle Obama, you know, again, talking about having gardens and everyone working out and not having anything, but meanwhile, in her kids' school, they have pizza. It's fun. Madonna stripping for Obama. If you vote for her, she promises to strip. Well, she stripped her underwear, and she said, you all better fucking vote for Obama, okay? And then, of course, later in the show, Madonna took over her shirt and pulled down her pants to show how she had Obama written in all capitals across her lower back. Oh, how nice. When Obama is in the White House for a second term, I'll take it all off, she said to cheers and whistles from the audience. Yeah, I bet. And then she went into singing a slow, seductive version of Like a Virgin. Well, she was never like a virgin, even probably the first time. Anyway, that's Madonna, who is now forever known in my vernacular as the Illuminatrix. Okay. Scientists find the secret of longer life for men. The bad news, of course, is that castration is the key. So again, going with this eugenics population reduction theme, an article written by Mark Prigg, published 24th of September. Scientists has this is unbelievable. Scientists have found a surefire way for men to live longer. Of course, most red-blooded males would not find the method unpalatably painful, of course. Researchers in Korea have shown that eunuchs, castrated men living centuries ago, outlived other men by a significant margin. They say their findings suggest that male sex hormones are responsible for shortening the lives of men. Okay, so we're just going to turn you into some couch potatoes that don't even want to have sex anymore. We're going to just cut your balls off or give you some other form of sterilization that'll bring you to this level, and you'll live longer. You'll willingly take this. I mean, I could just see this stuff. It's just unbearable, and that's why I report it here on Truth Talk News, where the news you hear is ignored by the mainstream media. Why don't they tell you about this? That findings suggest that male sex hormones are responsible for shortening the lives of men. What's going to happen when people think, well, I had 3 or 4 kids, you know, I'm only 45. You know what? I don't need this. Castrate me. I want to live longer. We're not going to have no more kids, right? What does that mean? Well, what does that mean? You know, it's like it's getting in the psychology of to live longer, you have to have less sex hormones. So they'll give you, right now they're trying to sell you, the people that love low T, take this drug and this pill to get rid of your low T. Hey, Eric's calling in. Low T. Eric, what's going on?
Hey, how are you doing, Howard?
I'm doing well.
Excellent.
This is Eric Dupre.
Yeah, it's Dupree, actually.
Dupree,
but,
I'm sorry.
Pretty close. Pretty close. You didn't pronounce the final Z, which is silent, so hey, there you go.
Okay, there you go. Dupree, I got it. Won't forget it.
So, yeah, I'm calling from the city that was under siege 2 years ago with the G20, so Toronto, Canada.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, that was incredible. Into the Fires showed some. I saw that. I watched that film. I've used clips from it. So you lived through that. You went through that. Wow.
Yeah. So if people didn't wake up at that point, there's very little that could stir them out of their slumber.
I agree. I think, you know, Eric, it's great, and the fact that you're Canadian is just like, you know, showing more to the fact that it is a new world order. Here in America, they don't understand that the general population, at least, doesn't understand that all these protests that have been happening, these Occupy protests and such, are so absolutely tame in comparison to the uprising, which is the right word to use, that occurred
Right.
in Canada, which of course the mainstream media squashed completely. No one in America knows anything about this, and they don't know Into the Fire, that's for sure. They didn't see that, and they wouldn't believe it. They wouldn't believe that a man could be thrown down in a man in a wheelchair, talking back to it, using his right for free speech, speaking whatever he said. He's in a wheelchair, and they knock this man over, crash his face to the ground, and lock him up. I was just like, I couldn't believe that in the world, in a free world, what we consider a free country, right? Canada,
Right.
America, you know, more or less, we are more or less, on the ideologies of freedom, supposedly, right? I mean, whatever. Then in this free society, the free world that all these politicians talk about worldwide, that this could happen. But it happened right before your eyes.
It happens, yeah. It definitely did. And as far as the the Constitution goes, we have a rather diluted version of that called the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And so I would implore anybody to learn about the significance and the inspired foundations that your founding fathers created. Our founding fathers, really, because it is fathers to humanity, of the Constitution, rather than, I think it's what the most important document on freedom and liberty and inalienable rights, and its emphasis in the English-speaking world.
I agree. I mean, and again, you had the original. It goes back like the Magna Carta, which I guess was sort of like an inspiration, but the truth is that it never actually defined the fact that these are God-given, inalienable rights that these criminals in our governments, in your government too, Eric,
Exactly.
have been hijacked by the Rothschild banks, basically. In your which
Even
one?
closer with Toronto. Well, I mean, with
Yes,
Canada.
yeah, exactly.
We're a colony of
You certainly are.
England,
Yeah,
or
you are.
less.
Exactly. Now in America, it's now the Rothschild again. I've done extensive research on this. Now the Rothschild influences in America. It's basically you have the Bank of America is the biggest, of course, influence. What is the largest Rothschild influence in Canada? Would that be RBS, or what would it be?
Banking wise?
Yeah, who's your central bank? The main central bank in America is J.P. Morgan Chase, which is again Rothschild and
Oh, it
Rockefeller.
operates here all the time.
Yeah,
JP Morgan Chase and who
yeah.
else?
J.P. Morgan Chase is a
I would
conglomeration of the Rockefeller and Rothschild influence, and then you have the Bank of America, which was the Bank of Italy, completely Rothschild influenced, and then the Bank of England, of course, is a large contributed to this whole situation.
yeah,
But
the main banks here
yeah.
would be the CIBC, which is a Canadian imperial bank, mind you, of
Well,
commerce.
they call
What
it
a perfectly named thing. Talk about hiding in plain sight again and
we are.
again.
Well, let's face it. We are the Anglo-American imperialists. That's what we are, right? I mean, let's face it, right? I mean, isn't that the truth?
Yeah,
We go to war for for the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the oil interests and the Halliburtons and the various different offshoots in different countries. They're internationalists. They work internationally. They work globally. And the bank, I'm just interested with the banking because in America, you have the Federal Reserve. Again, it was like set up in 100 years ago, literally, and
right.
the charter expires technically on December 21st, 2012, and there's not much talk of this, but it does, and I don't know what is going to be done about it, but something is going to happen. There's going to be a new charter or a new revision or an event or something's going to occur. I don't know what that means, but they can't just let it keep going because the charter actually does expire. So they'll probably just sign us off to another 100 years of enslavement. And we have an opportunity, a window where if people can understand that it's a private bank, that the people are better off served, printing their own money at no interest, or reversing the Federal Reserve System where every dollar they print they're taxed, which is a brilliant plan.
I think that would be a good idea as well, given that 99% chance that it's not going to go away or
It can't
be
go away.
dissolved. They're not going to ratify anything like that. So.
No way, Eric. They're not. And the truth is that, as you know, I mean, our countries are both enslaved by this debt. We're at like 17 trillion. We're over 16 trillion. That's just incomprehensible.
It is.
And it's fraudulent. The majority of it is fraudulent. Due to, like in America, due to the criminal acts of Bill Clinton, who I was earlier just mentioned, how like I thought he spoke quite truthfully and eloquently, and it's like there's like a psyop going on because he's giving like this really proper information and truthful information about things, And then, meanwhile, he was complicit, absolutely complicit, in this entire situation that everyone's blaming Bush, like the Obama people and I love that you're Canadian because you can look at this from an outside perspective. But look at this.
Thanks.
He's a Democrat, of course, the Democratic machine, right? So
Mhm.
Obama is is floundering here in America because really his record, if you look at everything, it's just ridiculous. The people are asleep. The fact that he's just serving the globalists, totally serving them in every capacity. The FDA raiding raw milk farms, all this stuff, attacking good friends of mine like Dr. Antonella Carpenter, who is has an alternative cure for cancer, taking away our rights, our God-given rights that we should keep focusing on, that ensure us life first of all, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I think that's the most important sentence in history of
Very much
humanity
so.
for freedom. And that's it. I mean, I don't care if you don't know anything about anything in the world. Know that you have a right, a God-given right to life, a God-given right to pursue happiness, and to be free. I mean, this is what they steal from us. They lie to us about, and they tell
And
us,
we're also, oh, sorry to interrupt.
"Oh no, please, please, with dialogue."
And, and also the the incredible brainwashing of the masses to have people induced to give up that inalienable right, the freedoms for uh, material gain, or at least as if that's sort of the replacement for inspired living. It's I don't know how to articulate it clearer than that at the moment, but I just people trade in that degree of freedom to think they'll buy the BMW over the Mercedes, and that is the extent of freedom that they experience.
Now
And
you hit on a very good point. We were talking about Edward Bernays earlier, Eric,
oh
and,
my God,
and
when you introduced that to me, I didn't know who he was until 3-4 weeks ago.
really interesting. Okay, well,
Yeah,
Edward
and
Bernays
now
is
now you've set up I can't even eat certain recipes as a result. Just if it's got béarnaise sauce on it, forget about
yeah.
it.
I hear you on that. Well, the truth is that the reason why worldwide, and this is interesting, okay, in the 1920s, there's two experiences, and this is what I try to get through to folks. And I play his film. There's a great film that was made, not his film, a film of him called the Century of the
Century of
Self.
the Self.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
great work, and
It,
it delves into a lot of it. But the truth, yeah, and it's very true. So the smoking, the fact that they wanted to get women to smoke. Now you would think, again, marketability wise, you'd think that's great. That's just a product they want to sell to women. So he came up with this campaign, this marketing campaign, publicity, that on Easter Sunday, all these women models that were hired, these at the time, I guess, like the
oh yeah, I recall that and seeing
right
them walking down the street.
smoking
That scene that
cigarettes,
you put on, unbelievable,
right?
and well, unbelievably sickening is what it is. As
Because there was also a
I'll
hidden
agree.
agenda, the
They
hidden
could
agenda.
sure they could have used heroin, but then the physical effects would have been far too rapid and apparent, and the public wouldn't have gone for it.
Right, Eric, we're on the same page, exactly. So it was another form of this sickening of the the situation. Now, I happen to have here, and it's interesting that we're talking. I managed to, once again get another. I'm a very big. Oh, this is the end of the show already. My goodness.
Oh, okay, all right,
Hold on a second.
sure.
All right, I'm just gonna pull this back just a second. I'm gonna go a little over tonight, just for a second there, Harry, if you're listening, because I really wanted to bring this bring this up with Eric, and talking about it. Eustace Mullins is did you ever read Murder by Injection, Eric?
No, but I heard or watched rather a show of yours, an episode from a few months back.
Speaking of him, right? All right. Well,
Yeah.
Murder by Injection is available. Everybody out there, you can just go and Google it, and there's a PDF. It'll come right up. Now, download it. It's a free PDF. It's about 200 pages, and it is unbelievable about what's going on with Big Pharma. And it goes into the whole thing with the food and the fluoride and everything else. Probably the most comprehensive work ever about the medical mafia, which is what I call it. So yeah, I just I didn't want the song to interrupt when we were talking, but everybody should read that. And tomorrow night I'm going to go over some more information on that. I'm still astounded, but it's all about population control. That is the biggest thing. It's not about money, as much as everyone would think it's about money. Mostly it's about controlling the people and slowly attritioning them out, right? Isn't that right, Eric? Just like slowly killing them through like...
Exactly. It just just get them out of the way so that we can enjoy our lives. I mean, that's the thinking of the
elite,
of these genocidalists. Exactly. That just get everybody out of the way, because I'd really like to play in the park, and they happen to be living in that park, and I think that's the section in which I want to play or set up a new golf
we have
course
the
or
Agenda
whatever.
21. How big is Agenda 21 by you there in Canada, Eric?
Honestly, I haven't really studied it. I don't know much about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Agenda 21 was the
answer.
from the Rio Summit in 1991, where they set forth protocols for cities to all the people should be like put into these pack 'em and stack 'em cities and have like rail service, and they don't have to have cars and all of this conveniences to help the economy and give like nature room to grow and all this stuff. And all this then it goes into the transhumanism and all the other stuff. And meanwhile, of course, they want all these other areas. That's where they can live and be free in their way, while they enslave us in smaller packed communities. In other words, they want to rid anyone from the living in the suburbs, not suburbs like suburbs per se. I'm talking about if you live in the rural areas, they don't want you there. That's part of and they're going to use it because there's some bug that you might be killing, or some like some like tree that might be like endangered, and they're using this Hegalian dialectic to confiscate land and in the future. I mean, that's the plan. I mean, check it out.
I got complete ignorance on that.
It's United Nations Agenda 21. You'll find it's a UN protocol, because we've been
I've
talking
heard
about
of it,
the
but
UN.
I haven't done any investigation.
It's crazy.
Of it,
It's probably
what I
happening right in your town, man, and we fight against it here. They did
I could tell you, as you were describing it, I could see just through memory and through walks every day to work, evidence of it. I mean, I'm in the country's largest city, and there are condominiums going up on every square foot of land. Well, not square foot, but you get the idea. You just said pack and stack them. And mile high.
What city are you in again, Eric?
Toronto.
Toronto. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love your city.
3 million people, right? So,
I've been to your city. It's an immaculate city. It's beautiful. It reminds me of New York if New York were clean and it's a little smaller. But it's a beautiful city.
Oh, thanks. I agree and disagree at the same time.
Your subways are immaculate, Eric. Come on, admit it.
How it's organized and how it's set up. Yeah, there is a beauty in the architecture itself.
If I drop my sandwich in the subway, I'd probably pick it up and eat it. I was that impressed with the subway living in New York City for 38 years. I was impressed by Toronto. Yeah, but I was there in the 90s. It was a while ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's just that here's one example for you, just to have a laugh. If well, I realize that you're overtime at the moment, so
Yeah, just for a moment. We'll do a little close on this. Yeah.
okay. That
Till we hear the music.
yeah, there's a building just a little bit up the street, about 6-7 minutes walk from here. That by Candrell, I suppose you could. It reminds me of something out of Blade Runner, but it's another story. That they're erecting a condo, which starts at now it's 1.2 million for the regular tower suites, and all the way up has been upped from a year ago. It says up to 17.9.
Well, that's what they do. They collectivize.
Up to 79 million, and now they're up to 20.9 million. They haven't been built yet, but
Well, that's how they do it, you know?
and so people are going to pay $20 million for their prison cell. Unbelievable.
It's absolutely true, my brother. Well, thank you, Eric, for joining me. And
Thank
I'm
you
Howard
so
Neva,
much.
and we'll be here again tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TruthBroadcastNetwork.com. We have Harry Link coming up in just a minute on TruthBroadcastNetwork.com with Death to the New World Order. Thanks again, Eric. Call in anytime. There's the Illuminatrix! Good evening, everybody. I'm Howard Nima, and you are watching Truth Talk News on truthbroadcastnetwork.com. Fighting the New World Order every night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on truthbroadcastnetwork.com. A lot of New World Order goings on around New York City. The United Nations World Government had their annual meeting, or are in the midst of having their annual meetings. And I don't even know where to go with this. I think I guess it'd be best to just go to the sources. The information on this is vast. You have
Never turn your back when you run. Everybody's got a loaded gun inside. Don't you worry about tomorrow. I don't know. Got sorrow. You know it's just looking for you. There's no one with lies. I feel alive, so deep inside. When I look into your eyes, so deep inside. I feel the pain. Don't you get yourself lost in the rain. I'll touch your soul. I'm not gonna be the one who's come to bring you down. I just wanna feel it in the air that I breathe. Don't you feel it? Alright, I'm so alive. Can't you see how it feels to me? Everybody wants to live in misery, oh no. Everything in our lives, I feel alive. You know it's true. I wanna make sweet love to you.
UN Agenda 21, bailouts, sellouts, Lehman Brothers, Goldman Sachs, false flag, terror attacks, Bill Gates, Henry Kissinger, New World Order, mind control, Bank of America stealing homes with cut and paste mortgage loans, police, state, taser guns, FEMA camps, Mandarin, Monsanto rules the food supply while Big Pharma dopes your mind, prison system, profiteers, foundations, fund the fears, fund the evil through the years, the world's not as it appears. CIA smuggles drugs while Wachovia and Wells Fargo launder them, then give the proceeds to the owners of the Federal Reserve Bank. Now the IRS takes money out of every single check. Money created out of thin air and leave you with debt. They want to make you a serf, a slave to their demand. They want to take your life in every way they can. Fluoride, GMO, vaccines, chemtrails, United Nations genocide. The world they show us is not real. This is how they kill and steal. Rothschild, Bundy, Rockefeller, Club of Rome. On the Georgia guys, soldiers written in stone. Cut through the matrix, awaken to the lies. Do not be hypnotized. We are one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you feel the pain? I'm the one who's got an aching brain. I feel low. I don't wanna be the one who's come to bring you down. I just wanna tell you
on the Drudge Report. I'll go there. It's just interesting as all heck. You have Iran is test firing missiles, which are designed to hit warships. They're unveiling a long-range drone plan. This is their agenda. Israel is quiet on Ahmadinejad as Yom Kippur descends. Of course, it is Yom Kippur, and to those, my best friend in the world is of the Jewish faith, and for those that are my friends and patriots that celebrate, probably not watching this live, but you know, it is an important day on the Jewish calendar. So to those that celebrate, you know, God bless you, and let the divisions of religion not stray you from your faith, which is the intention of the New World Order. Divide and conquer, Hegalian Dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. These are the tactics they use. So that said, yeah, let's see what's going on here with this. This is just like sort of like bugging me out. See, there's a video. It's from Reuters. Okay, the article is from Reuters. And Iran unveils long-range drone, state TV.